Hello, I'm Melissa Martin, Executive Director for Phi Upsilon Omicron. Today, I'm reaching out to you as our Phi U members on behalf of National Council to share our proposed bylaws amendment based on the recent survey and listening sessions that our members participated in. The attached slides will go through some of the background information regarding our membership eligibility and proposed bylaws changes. As an overview, during the Conclave 2022 business meeting of delegates, new business included an agenda item to discuss Phi U membership eligibility and FCS related content areas. To recap, during that meeting, Jennifer Reeder, our national president from 2020 to 2022, shared with the delegation that Phi U had received a request from a collegiate chapter advisor to include family and consumer sciences minors as eligible members to join the Honor Society. There was no discussion from the delegates at that meeting, and President Reeder informed the membership that we would be hosting listening sessions and also distributing a survey to see what members think. 2 listening sessions were held in the spring of 2024 for the purpose of considering this possibility. It included information about non-FCS majors in order to keep dialogue open concerning possible FCS program certificates and/or considerable FCS coursework that may or may not lead to a minor. So what is Family and Consumer Sciences? Who are we? The following primary content areas recognized by the American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences include, but are not limited to, culinary arts, hospitality and tourism, education and training, food science, nutrition and dietetics, health management and wellness, housing and interior design, human child development, and family relations, personal and family finance, textiles, fashion, apparel, and retailing merchandising. So let's think about our founding. How did we come about? What do the Phi U Articles of Incorporation state? Well, they say, the purposes for which this corporation is formed are to recognize and encourage academic excellence, professional leadership, and commitment to further the professional development of its members and advance home economics, and to do anything necessary or proper for the accomplishment of these purposes. Our bylaws state that our purposes are to recognize and promote academic excellence, develop qualities of leadership by providing opportunities for service, and encourage lifelong learning and commitment to advance family and consumer sciences and related areas. So, what's the rationale for change? Well, here at Phi U, we're having a lot of discussions about the changing landscape of higher ed. There's a lot of restructuring of family and consumer sciences programs, and we're seeing fragmentation of colleges and schools. There's lots of challenges advisors are facing in identifying who are the FCS students, or in having students identify themselves as family and consumer sciences students or future FCS professionals. We're seeing some programs eliminated, and FCS areas, or what would be deemed as an FCS major, shift to minors, certificates, or concentration and emphasis studies under different major names that may or may not be typically viewed as FCS core content areas. This changing landscape looks a little different than what we've encountered in the past. Examples might be a business major with a minor in fashion marketing or merchandising, or a counseling major with a minor in child and family studies. These students may align themselves more with the family and consumer sciences field with the ultimate goal to work in FCS professions. They oftentimes have values that align with our desire to improve the lives of individuals, families, and communities. Their choice to major in a non-family and consumer science related content area may be driven by their understanding of STEM, their employment prospects, perceived value, or simply based on a more limited offering of FCS majors or courses at their institution. So, as we received this request from one of our chapter advisors, National Council had a lot to think about. I think first, a lot of us feel scared of change. We think about this as straying maybe from our core values or watering down the profession. The more we talked about it and we looked at what was going on around us, we started to open up our minds to the reason behind the request. There's some things going on in conversations around us. For instance, Advanced CTE has put out a new draft of their career clusters model. In it, family consumer science has been completely eliminated as a field of study. We also acknowledge what we're seeing with the zip code policies and universities changing from family and consumer sciences, zip code 19, to perhaps behavioral science. One avenue of thought is that this just further dilutes the field. We know it's frustrating when other areas claim FCS content as theirs. But the other alternate view is that we have the potential opportunity to increase awareness of what is family and consumer sciences and showcase that we are an interconnected and interdisciplinary field. So, what do the numbers tell us? This isn't a decision that's been taken lightly. It's not a proposal we came up with overnight. It's been a long time in discussions. It's been 2 years since the proposal came forward to National Council. So we took a look at the numbers and looking at our new initiates and also our annual alumni fees. That would be the $25 that a lot of our wonderful alumni continue to give to support FIU and to receive their candle. The numbers don't paint a picture of a sustainable trajectory. So far for this fiscal year, we've initiated 398, and the end of July is the close of fiscal year. So we're seeing a definite decline in giving and also new members. We've lost some chapters because of department fragmentation, not because not all the programs are there, but because they changed. They're housed in different colleges and universities, and it may be harder to reach students or identify who they are. As times change, we must adapt. I went to a conference recently, and the speaker said, the only person who likes a change is a baby with a wet diaper. And I think it's funny, but it's true. It's hard to think about opening up possibilities to something we haven't done in the past. I found a few quotes that I thought would be good for us to reflect on as we consider these proposed bylaws changes. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. We cannot change what we are not aware of, and once we are aware, we cannot help but change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So, what were National Council's considerations? Well, to recap, we received the request from the membership. It was majority supported through those listening sessions and the survey that closed yesterday. We looked at what is happening to family and consumer sciences programs in higher ed. Where are they located, especially in the wake of COVID-19, regardless of whether or not we support those decisions. We have an observed and continued decline in new student members and annual alumni giving, which, as I mentioned before, is an unsustainable trajectory. There's a lack of visibility and understanding of what FCS is by some administration, policymakers, and oftentimes the general public. In consulting with the Association of College Honor Societies, of which we are a certified member, we've confirmed that specialized classification allows for study in a specific major and field of study, including minors with determined requirements. As we took a look at some of these specialized honor societies who are also certified under ACHS, we realized that a lot of other honor societies are already practicing this. So again, what's happening in the world around us? How do folks view FCS? Are there things on the horizon we need to be aware of? As I mentioned, Advanced CTE has released a new National Career Clusters Framework draft, and it eliminates FCS as a career pathway. Now, there's a lot of advocacy work that's being done, but that's kind of where things stand now. Also, DHS has identified certain zip codes as STEM, and zip code 19 isn't currently included, which is FCS. Now, again, there is a team being put together right now as we speak by the American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences to advocate for changes in these areas. But in the meantime, there's challenges faced by international students who may receive grant money or DHS funding for studying STEM that aren't crediting FCS with the good work that they're doing. So, what do we hope to achieve? Well, in the end, we're seeking to enhance the visibility of family and consumer sciences professions in both academic and workplace venues, expanding the scope of recognized FCS professionals by opening membership in FIU to students who earn academic concentrations of FCS programs will enable a greater understanding of what FCS professionals do. How do we ensure that policymakers, administrators, business and industry understand what family consumer sciences brings to the table? Is the future FCS professional who we're serving? How are we doing that? What are we achieving? National Council conclusions. So, in weighing out all of these factors and going back to the original request we received back in 2022, doing research, having conversations, looking at the landscape of family consumer sciences and of higher ed, we all acknowledge that academia has changed. Our programs are increasingly distributed across campuses. An inclusive approach to membership keeps up with the times in which our students live, study, and work. We want to preserve tradition while also meeting the needs of our chapters and programs. We acknowledge that family and consumer sciences is a flexible interdisciplinary area. We want to promote working with many facets of professionals to increase the visibility and viability of our programs for the future of the organization and field. Our goal at FIU is to remain true to our mission, vision, and purpose to support and advance FCS and its related areas. We had a lot of discussion about our founding and our founder, Ellen Richards, who pursued chemistry and from there realized there was a need that wasn't being met. I think that her work as a trailblazer shows how interconnected we are across many different areas. The proposed bylaws changes have been drafted for FIU membership review to be distributed by July 15th in accordance with our bylaws. We will be including an agenda item and holding a vote at the 2024 Conclave Business Meeting of Delegates on October 5th, 2024 in Menominee, Wisconsin. We hope your chapter will send a delegate so that you can have a voice and a vote at the event. So, what are the proposed bylaws changes? We looked at the bylaws in their entirety, and we felt the need to make a few proposals for membership consideration. First, our current bylaws don't have a definition of FCS. Because we're increasingly seeing our departments scattered across campuses, we felt it was important to define what family and consumer sciences and related areas are, not only to clarify who FCS is, but to also assist our advisors. We have a lot of advisors who have recently retired or are coming up on retirement, and new leaders are coming into their place. We want them to feel equipped to understand who are the eligible students in the areas of FCS. Perhaps the biggest proposal is the one I've spent the most time discussing today, and that's our membership eligibility. Our current bylaws state that for undergraduate students, you must be majoring in family and consumer sciences, with completing a minimum of 36 semester hours and at least 6 hours of coursework in areas including but not limited to those recognized by the American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences. In the proposed bylaws, as you'll see on your screen, we are keeping the high standard that we have always had for our membership. Phi U members should exhibit the potential for professional and community leadership, demonstrate a spirit of service, and exemplify character through personal integrity and professional attitude. Both avenues of membership would still require a minimum of 36 semester hours or the equivalent quarter hours. They must have completed Family and Consumer Sciences coursework in areas including, but not limited to, those recognized by AAFCS. As we currently have in our bylaws, a student cannot rank lower than the highest 35% of their class in general scholarship. We recognize that as departments are scattered across campuses in some cases, it may become more difficult to determine the highest 35%. In consultation with the Association of College Honor Societies, we have adopted their wording to permit an avenue to membership when class rank is not available. Those students would need to have a cumulative grade point average of at least 3.3 when an advisor is unable to determine the highest 35% of the class rank in general scholarship. What's different about these proposals is that in addition to our family and consumer science related majors that would require at least 6 semester hours in FCS coursework, this avenue to membership would permit a non-FCS related major. So as I mentioned, maybe it's that counseling major that has a minor in child and family studies. This undergraduate student would still have to complete a minimum of 36 semester hours, but 12 of those would have to be in FCS coursework. Alumni fees. We currently have alumni fees listed in our bylaws, and there was a verbiage of shall pay an annual fee set by National Council. What we've realized, we advocate once a member, always a member. And those fees are critical to the sustainability of Phi U, and we appreciate and value our alumni supporters. But we recognize that you're still a Phi U member. So we're proposing changing the verbiage to contribution. We recommend an annual amount set by National Council, but in lieu of that annual donation, you can choose to pay a lifetime alumni donation. Then those donations become tax deductible. Currently, under Article 6 for National Council and Executive Council, the executive director is to arrange for an annual audit to be available to members. In our proposed verbiage for these bylaws changes, we would like to open it up to an annual audit or review as directed by National Council to be available to members. Audit work is becoming increasingly specialty work and expensive. Phi U spends $5,000 currently on audit work. It has additional oversight and it is a more cumbersome process. We want to be sure that we are transparent and show our members how our money is being spent. But it may be that a review gives us considerable oversight and provides National Council with reassurance that they need. We want to keep it flexible in the event there is a large donation that comes through, and we want to offer an audit or a review in any given year. Discontinuance. We never want to think about the end of Phi U. The whole goal with any of these changes is to see Phi U continue into perpetuity. One of the things we currently have in our bylaws is that when a chapter goes inactive, the remaining assets of the chapter are distributed to the Phi Upsilon Omicron Educational Foundation. As we have lost some chapters in recent years, while membership declining for the Honor Society, we recognize a need to be more balanced in this approach. So the proposed section of the bylaws regarding discontinuance, we are suggesting that any remaining assets of a chapter be distributed evenly between the Phi Upsilon Educational Foundation and Phi Epsilon Omicron Inc. This is the Honor Society, which manages the chapters. Both are tax exempt under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Should Phi Epsilon Omicron Inc. become inactive for any reason, any remaining assets of the Honor Society, including the assets of subordinate chapters, would then be distributed to the Phi Epsilon Omicron Educational Foundation. Additional information and opportunities for member input will occur at Conclave prior to the business meeting. Our current bylaws are available on the FIU website, and you can see that link there, or you can find them on the homepage under About Us. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We hope you'll join us for Conclave to vote on this important proposal to our bylaws, and we hope you'll take the time to consider all of the aspects and outside and internal factors that National Council has reviewed in making these proposals. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being dedicated, involved, and active FIU members and family consumer science advocates and professionals. We want to see FIU continue to have the strong legacy of family consumer sciences, scholarship, leadership, and service. Thank you.